three, two, one. All right, I think it's recording.
Yes.
All right. Then I'll just cut it later. Three, two. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Trading Brains. I'm your host, Evan Greif, here with my co-host, Angelo Messina. Angelo, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. Another day in paradise. I feel like today, like the last week, because going back into like my main job and everything else, I feel like going forward, it's just gonna be a smooth sailing. Great atmosphere. Actually, I feel great.
Good, good. Yeah, me too. Honestly, like despite the pandemic going on, some lockdowns still happening in Tokyo. All things considered, I'm fortunate that I can work from home and I work in a desk job and at a computer, so I don't need to go to the office that much. But yeah, I think things are getting better despite the Delta variant. There's more activity.
Yeah. And I know, like from earlier, before we start talking about the chat, you have some couple of news that you want to bring us up to
Yeah,
date.
so I mean, for this episode, I was thinking we could just talk about kind of news that we are seeing in the world, but in Japan or in America or anywhere really, that's pretty significant and things that people are going to want to hear about. And I think we should make this like a segment that we're going to do from here on out. Just if we don't have a particular subject that we really want to do a deep dive on, then we could cover the news and anything that is circulating around there. So for one of the first things is that the Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga has announced that he plans to resign in September, at the end of September-ish, this month. And it's like, it's not that like, well, I guess it's technically a resignation because he says that he's just not going to participate in the next election, right? So they're having like a completely renewed election of all of the officials of the party that is running their government here, but he's not going to participate in that election to run as prime minister. So effectively, that is a resignation.
Do they have like a term limit? Like they only get served for a couple of years, like kind of like the U.S.
Not
Or
not really. Yeah, they don't really have a term limit. Abe he was like prime minister for about 8 years until last year when Suga took over. And then Suga's stepping down now, and he's actually trying to promote Kono, the Minister Kono, who has been in charge of providing vaccines. He's like a former defense and foreign minister or foreign affairs minister. And
so he has the accolades to be the prime minister of Japan.
yeah, I mean, if Suga's backing him, then I think he probably has the chops to do it. And he's been a minister in many different places, and he has a lot of support from young people because he's very active on Twitter. And I think part of that is obviously because, he needs to be reaching out to young people to try to convince them to take the vaccine. Whatever listeners, whatever your stance is on vaccines, that's kind of their approach here in Japan, right? Kono's trying to get the young people to get vaccinated to reduce the spread of COVID.
Yeah, to start from somewhere. And also like I know like in the US, like everyone like we could get up to all the way down to I think 12 years old now, and there's a possibility of the third vaccine or the third dose is going to be ineffective, especially when Pfizer got FDA approved.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not super new, like recent news, but Pfizer got FDA approval like last week or 2 weeks ago, something like that.
So obviously they're going to make that big push. And for people who want to take it, who doesn't want to take it, this is not a news of saying you need to take it. This is your choice. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, unless you work for a federal agency, or a public system.
Unless your job requires.
Yeah.
I know my job requires to now either show the vaccine card or get tests weekly. So that's another thing. So I know a lot of places are doing that now.
Gotcha. Yeah, so that's kind of the news here in Japan. I mean, I think he is resigning. Probably, I mean, in the first place, he said publicly that he didn't want to be prime minister. A lot of people pushed him to be prime minister. He's like, we don't have anybody else, so you do it. He's like, all right. I mean, I guess I'll do it. But now that the Olympics are over, it's finished, it's done. I think he feels like he accomplished that, and that's all he needed to do. And that was his like ready. He's just ready to, hop on out and let somebody else take the
Well,
reins.
trying to plan the Olympics in pandemic time, and you're not just getting like your own country or like nearby country.
Yeah.
You're getting every single country into your country, and then trying to keep the population safe. The,
Yeah.
the athletes and your own people. I feel like that's kind of hard and a lot of stress. So
It has
I
been
think
really it has been really hard because there's been a lot of COVID cases that have come out of the something called the Olympic Village, right? Which is where all of these athletes are being housed, all of them are staying, right? There's been a lot of outbreaks from them, and then from there, it's been
yeah,
spreading across Tokyo and all of Japan, really. And cases have been skyrocketing through August to September. Um,
yeah, like it's also in the states too. Like different states vary. There's some states that it's not wearing masks. Some places are wearing masks. So like I feel like there's a lot of multiple variables or multiple factors that are playing into this,
yeah,
and I think no one wants another lockdown because people got really cooped up and bad. So, or not violent, but in the sense of like just depressed, constantly at home, changing careers.
hmm
So, kind of like I think it changed everyone's life. So they kind of don't want that to happen. But
yeah,
also now they don't they don't want to be restrained, depending
right.
on where you live.
I mean, in some aspects, changing your careers can be a positive change, of course. But for the most part, it's like, change because you were forced to by this pandemic that nobody expected and all this craziness. Yeah. So there, I mean, Kono is being pushed by Suga to be prime minister, the new prime minister of Japan. But there's also another one named Kishida,
Mhm.
and I think he's more focused on not just the vaccine distribution, but also kind of like an economic stimulus plan for Japan, and also making sure that they have like, mm, I guess,
Cut ties.
good terms with China, right? Think terms that make sense for Japan,
Yeah.
right? They negotiate terms for Japan to be on equal or the best
Mm-hmm.
kind of footing that they can have with China in terms of economics and politics as well, especially
Mm-hmm.
in the um, like the region around Okinawa and Taiwan. There's been a lot of military activity there. So
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I mean
But
that's pretty much what's been happening in Japan. A lot of people are really upset with Suga. Like if you look at a survey that was on the news recently, it's like 70% of people here don't want him to continue being prime minister. Which I mean now he's resigning, so it kind of makes sense.
unless he actually listens to the people.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, he said he didn't
70%.
want to. He said he didn't want to do it in the
Oh,
first place, right? So
yeah, but like I feel like some people say other things. Like I'm not like doubting him. Like he probably just like screw. I'm done. Screw this.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I did the Olympics. I'm done. Like I never wanted to be here in the beginning with. But like now it's like did that like when he resigned? Did the poll came out before or after?
It came
He
out
said that.
before he announced the resignation. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So the poll was out. It was out like 2 weeks before, 3 weeks before something. And the resignation announcement was like yesterday, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
Huh, wow.
very, very recent news. Yeah.
So then, okay. So then
In other news, yeah.
yeah, so like from Japan now, let's go across the other pond.
Yeah, across the pond, across the Pacific
Yeah,
Ocean pond.
Pacific pond.
Um, Yeah. If you have more any news about vaccine rollout or like, obviously FDA approval is given to Pfizer. They're talking about booster shots,
So
like
like
third shots.
you had the third shot. So like now it's people who had started to get the vaccine in January when it first rolled began to like administrated. Now it's coming out now. And then it's like, okay, do we get the third vaccine now? Or if so, when is the first day? So people are when I say people, the government and everyone and Pfizer is like sometime in all October.
They're discussing when they should
Yeah,
administer booster shots to
yeah,
people because
yeah,
like what I've heard, again, like we're not doctors,
yeah,
okay? We
yeah.
don't know anything. We're idiots. But what I've heard is
Stupid.
that you can like yeah, disclaimer. What I've heard is
Like,
that you start losing the antibodies, like 6 months after the vaccine, right? Um,
exactly. So then it's like still no one's like if they're not enforcing the third vaccine yet. They're more enforcing people to get the first vaccine.
right.
Because like ever since like
And I honestly think people should. Just me, that's what I think. I think people
yeah,
should. There you have more of a chance of being damaged by COVID than you do of this vaccine.
exactly. But then people are I feel like for me it's like not like if you want to get it, you get it. If you don't want to get it, you don't have to get it. Just know what you're like, know what you're talking about. I feel like. I
Mm.
worked in the healthcare field. I totally understand how vaccine works, but different vaccines are different variables, so it doesn't work all the time. But that's why I don't want to get into it because I'm not trying to propagate or I'm not trying to demand people to get it because that's their choice. If they're anti-vaxxers, good for them. If they vaxxers, good for them. I'm very indifferent. I'm not going to push my ways to them because it's completely different, and I don't want kind of impartial. There you
Gotcha.
go.
Yeah, yeah. Let's keep it.
So yeah, keep it impartial.
Let's leave it
But
at that. Let's leave it at that.
we're going to across the pond. You said they have
Yeah.
something about Tesla.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah, yeah. So there's some news
before
about
we start.
Tesla. News about Tesla recently. So there was a car crash with using a Tesla vehicle. And there have been about, I would say, 33, if I recall correctly, that happened since like 2016. And that there were what is it, concerns that the autonomous driving technology was being used during those car crashes. So when those crashes happen.
How to
And
make more lazy people, more lazy Americans, even more lazier. Auto drive.
yeah, auto drive. I mean, honestly, I think it's good because it'll make driving
Oh,
efficient. If everybody's auto driving, the reduction in car crashes, the reduction in traffic, right, jams, because like these
oh,
cars, I mean, this
in
is kind of a
theory,
tangent. I mean, we're talking about the crash, so that's not very good, but in general, like the cars just communicate with each other all the time.
yeah,
So they always know when to put the gas and when to put the brakes and when to do
right.
whatever. Yeah.
It's like basically like auto cruise control. It's like an auto drive, like speeds up and slows down. It changes lanes for you. So like yeah, it changes everything. Yeah, it's in a sense way easier. But let's just say if there's one car only doing it, it's kind of hard. And I feel like that
Yeah,
will be downfall of it because
for
then
sure.
everyone has to get in this car.
Yeah. Yeah. At the same token, right, Tesla has their official policy or what is it? Official statement, their official uh
Statement like what they
like
said after.
what they think really is it's not fully autonomous yet, the cars. They still require human supervision, right? You need to be in the driver's seat with your hands on the wheel, but you can, let the car do what it needs to do. Um, with that said, that is kind of a defense on Tesla's part, but there have been these crashes, and uh, this particular crash in Texas, one of the passengers was actually above the legal alcohol limit. So in Texas, and I think you were saying earlier before we started the episode, federally, the legal alcohol limit is 0.08 uh, blood alcohol units. I forget the measurement.
Blood alcohol content.
Yeah, blood
Yes.
alcohol content. Yeah. And that person was 0.151. So that's like almost double, right? Because it's 0.08. It's almost
Guy
double that.
had a hell of a night because of him.
Yeah, yeah. Well, not good for him because he died from blunt force trauma and burns and smoke inhalation. So not very good.
I really want the keyboard. It goes, bruh.
Yeah.
Where's that right now?
I mean,
We need one.
yeah. God rest his soul. God rest his soul. Seriously. And the other passenger too, crashed into a tree, and yeah, it was just
I feel like
terrible accident. But
not making fun of the driver, not trying to like.
of course not. Yeah, no, we're
I'm
not.
not expecting that.
Listeners, I hope you guys know us enough from all these episodes that we've put out so far that we're not Satanists.
We
We're
have
not
some soul.
sadists. Yeah, we have some souls. A little piece, a little fragment, like 1/16. So yeah, with this crash, it could be that the autonomous driving was on. However, I mean, I think Tesla either put out the statement or it's just been known that the street that they were driving on doesn't have support for the autonomous driving system. It could have had cruise control, but most cars nowadays have cruise control.
Yeah.
Um,
Even some
but
cars that have cruise control that it can slow down. Like if
yeah.
you're driving, you see your car, actually the car would slow down for you.
Mhm. And they weren't in the driver's seat too, actually, when they were discovered. So, I mean, you're supposed to be in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Even if you were using autonomous driving, which in this case on that road they would not be able to, right?
Mm.
So yeah, that's some news from Tesla. I mean, maybe the stock will take a hit, maybe not, but it'll just bump back up. I think it's just like
Well,
too much pushing it.
but I feel like with like the stocks, like I think it might go down, but like how much? Because if all the facts lie out, if there is a court case, I think it will get pushed because all those rules are not in favor of the car's fault.
No.
It's like people
Well, I
are
mean, the
thinking,
guy was
oh,
the guy was above the legal limit of alcohol.
yeah,
That's
it's like
already
yeah,
that's
yeah,
already like enough grounds
done.
to throw away any sort of lawsuit.
Not even the driver's seat. Okay, that's gonna. I
Yeah,
think like it might get a small hit, but it's gonna get a bounce back up.
for sure.
So like trying to reinvest, like trying to get back into like stocks is like okay, cool. But I feel like there's always a bunch of different stuff that you could buy stocks like Public, Robinhood, uh, Fidelity. So like I feel
I
like
mean,
people
like
can buy it.
brokerages.
Yeah, brokerage like in the sense of, like people can buy it.
Uh-huh.
But I know like Robinhood's like I feel like Robinhood's like it's good for beginners, but there's better ones. I feel like,
They're
and I'm not
definitely
trying to sponsor, trying to push anything out there, but it's just like I don't know. Ever since like the whole thing with the Dogecoin incident, I'm kind of trying to get away from Robinhood, trying to use something different. But um, but what else? Yeah, but like with the
Yeah, man,
stocks, if
honestly,
it's
that ties
going,
into our next subject, really,
yeah,
that I wanted to
Robinhood,
cover.
yeah.
Exactly, talking about Robinhood. So it was really funny. I saw this tweet. Uh, I would like to give credit, but I'll probably just do it in the link or like one of the links in the description of the episode. A tweet where it said, "Robinhood without payment for order flow is like OnlyFans without porn." Right. And basically what that means is that Robinhood, basically how they make their money is their users don't pay any commission on trades, right? When you buy or sell a stock on or any sort of security on Robinhood, you don't pay a trading fee. It used to be the case that you would pay for trading fees, and then once players like disruptors like Robinhood and other smaller brokerages came in and did away with that, a lot of the bigger players like Fidelity you just mentioned or Charles Schwab, they all had to go with $0 trading commission fees. But the reason Robinhood was able to do that in the first place is because of something called payment for order flow. Now, what this is to keep it simple, whenever a Robinhood user buys or sells a stock, Robinhood will sell that information, sell your transaction information, what stock you bought, when you bought it, how much of it you bought, all of this stuff to other financial firms that are looking to analyze and aggregate this data, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then based on that analyzed and aggregated data from the retail traders on Robinhood, those financial companies have an edge because they understand the trends and they understand the behaviors of the people who are using the Robinhood platform, so they can trade against that. And it's already pretty fishy, right, for them to be doing that, but it's not illegal. It's not illegal
yeah,
for them to do that. And so
it's like almost
that's the
okay.
current business model of Robinhood. But in the past few days, I think it was like 2 or 3 days ago, not sure on the particular date, but it was announced that the SEC and other like American financial regulatory firms are going to be looking into legalizing payment for order flow for these brokerages. And the reason why that's so significant to Robinhood is because if they can't do that anymore, if it becomes illegal, then their whole business model is going to be disrupted. and they would need to either pivot, right, change how they make revenue, how they make money, or um, crash and burn. It's like one or the other. Robin has to figure out how to get out of this hole, or yeah, take the
They have
hit.
to change their whole business model.
Yeah,
And like I feel like it's life. I feel like you adapt or you perish.
yeah,
It's just one or the other. So I feel like if the guy's smart, I think he would change. Or if anything, if he's really smart, sell it, get rid of it completely, and just like, okay, I'm done.
Oh, you mean Vlad Tenev? Like just sell the company?
Sell the company.
I mean, it's already public, so that'd be kind of
Right?
hard. But I mean, he could resign and then sell his shares and whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, sell his what I mean, like sell his
jump
shares and
ship.
all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, jump ship and get all the money that he can now, and that's it. Or if he doesn't want to do the extra work, if he
Do it,
doesn't want
Vlad. Do it. Just get out. Just get out and try again. Do another startup. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. I'm not telling you to do whatever. I mean, look, honestly, if you can figure a way out of it, that even more impressive. I think that would be really awesome, especially for your users on Robinhood.
of course. But so like I feel like those three topics are like great to show, and I think we do because I did enjoy about these three topics, these random topics. If you think about it, it's like they're all really popular in one in Japan and two in the United States because everyone wants to get a new Tesla. Everyone's talking about the stonks, big stock gain, all the greens they want.
All the greens, yeah. I mean, honestly, it's really insane because I've always been very investment minded. I've always been like, I mean, you know me for a long time. I've been like deciding like, okay, I need to invest, especially at an early age. And I encourage all of our listeners, at whatever age you're at, to invest your money in securities and specifically stock equities. But it's been a really huge boom ever since the pandemic hit because of the crash, and then like the money supply going insane, and then because of that, all of the money going into these equities and stocks, bumping up the price of the market entirely. So yeah, so I mean, I think I'm pretty happy about it that people are getting involved, but I also think that people should try to discipline themselves and not just go into something that they think is going to make them hundreds of $1,000s like NFTs, stuff that's really, really risky.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's a lot of people like, oh, at high risk, high reward. If it not even a freaking penny and turns up to a penny, look at me now.
Yeah.
And that's why people are taking and just putting like $100 into it. And they're not like, depends on the people. Not everyone's trying to put in $1,000 into something real risky. Maybe $10. You know what I mean? $10.
Well, I mean, a lot of it is FOMO, but then a lot of it is like, okay, as long as I'm the first person in, then other idiots are gonna buy it after me, jack up the price, and then I'll sell out, right?
Yeah.
It's like, everybody's trying to do that to you too. So yeah. So I mean, investing and trading are completely two different ideas. And I think if you do both, that's fine. Just keep your accounts separate and have a cap on how much you're willing to trade. Like whatever you're gonna trade in something that's risky, be okay with losing 100% of that.
Oh, of course. 100%. And I feel like a lot of people are getting into it now, not before. I think now because they got burned so many times during the pandemic because they were home, they're constantly looking at this. So because I know a lot of people,
and also like a lot of people couldn't do sports betting anymore and stuff, so they just decided, let me just get into the stock market, and they're just like, all right, this stock is what people are telling me to buy. So
yeah, you're technically betting on a company that will do really, really well and then sell out.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so I think that's about it for today's episode. Thank you everybody for watching, listening, being here with us. I think we're going to continue doing this, like I mentioned in the beginning of the episode, continue doing this kind of segment, covering news if we don't have a particular subject that we're going to cover for the episode. But yeah, that'll just about do it for us today. Angelo, anything you want to say to our listeners? No?
Thank you for the support. We're trying to be a little bit more better. We're going to try and work better on the back office end and trying to get more content out there with you guys. So bear with us. Thank you for your support.
I mean, my whole the whole reason I decided that maybe this would be a good idea, I proposed this idea of covering the news together, is that it's very easy.
Yeah.
It's so, and what I mean by easy is not like, oh, okay, we're not going to put a lot of effort into the episode. We don't, we just want to put out, crap. It's more like it's something we can consistently talk about, and it's also something that it can affect people's lives, and it's mostly what I think
And
people
people
are
have
going to
so
want to
many
hear
views
about.
on it.
Yeah,
And like legitimate, our motto, not motto, our persona. I feel like we're us training brains. That's who we are. It's our content. We pick a topic, we go into either one a deep dive or scratch the surface. Try to get people start talking about other things.
yeah,
People
yeah.
are listen. They think, oh, we agree with Angelo and Evan, or no, they are completely two idiots, and they're just talking just for bullshit. And
If you
either
feel
way,
that way, please comment. Yeah, because we need like comments and stuff. Yeah, we need anything really.
either way, it's fine because it's good for us. Then we know
Yeah.
and to improve. So
Yeah, of course. I mean, look, everyone's going to have their own opinion, but in terms of content, and if we can improve the quality of the show, we're going to do it. We really want that for all of you listeners.
exactly.
So, yeah, I think again, like I said, that'll just about do it. If you want to reach us, you can always reach out to us at Trading Brains Podcast at gmail.com. We're also on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, all of those platforms. Yeah, just look for the hashtag or handle, at Trading Brains.
Mhm.
And we will see you all in the next episode.
Stay tuned. I'll see you next time.
Yeah. Bye bye.